All right, public speaking tip number 13. Decide the basic purpose of your speech or presentation. Simple. Simple. Decide the basic purpose of your speech or presentation. Now, here's what I want you to know. And this is extremely important. I want you to remember this throughout this session, throughout the video. I want you to remember this. There's only one reason to speak. There's only one reason to speak. And the only reason that you speak should be because you have something to say or a message to convey. Now, most of you've probably heard of Socrates and Plato at some point in time in your Western education. You've probably heard of Socrates and Plato. Am I right? Yeah. Well, it was Plato who said that wise men speak because they have something to say. He later went on to say that fools speak because they feel they have to say something. Yeah, that was Plato. Plato said wise men speak because they have something to say. Fools speak because they feel they have to say something. And hey, I don't want you to look foolish. I don't want you standing up and looking foolish speaking because you just feel like you have to say something. You already know. We've talked about this in the previous videos. You only speak because you have something to say. You have a reason, right? Yeah, you have to have a reason to speak. But I want to make this even, I want to boil this down. I want to make it a little simpler for you. And I want you to remember this. Whenever you stand up to speak, there's basically only 4 reasons that you should be standing up to speak. 4 simple reasons that you should be standing up to speak. All right. Yeah, you're going to have a reason. You're going to have something that you want to discuss. But here's what I want you to remember. There's only 4 reasons that you should stand up to speak. 4. Remember that. 4. And number 1 is you're either speaking to inform, you're going to speak to inspire, you're going to speak to entertain, or you're going to speak to persuade. You got that? Inform, inspire, entertain, or persuade. That's it. If you're going to speak, if you're going to stand up and give a presentation, it should be only to do one of those 4 things. So in your next presentation, what's your goal? What are you going to talk about? Are you speaking to inform, inspire, entertain, or persuade? Now, I'll make this easy. Let me give you a little example. You see, when you're speaking to inform, that means that you're giving an informative speech. It means that you're going to give some information to your audience. You're going to tell them something. And it may be something that they are not already familiar with. It may be something that they're not already informed about. But you're going to inform them. So at the end of that presentation, they're going to have more information. And if you do it correctly, they're going to have more information and they're going to know what to do with that information. You know, you're going to just pour gallons and gallons and gallons of information into their cranium. But you're also going to tell them how to use that information, what to use that information for, and how to use that information effectively. Okay? Speaking to inform. Now, if you're not speaking to inform, another thing that you may want to think about doing is speaking to inspire. I love this one because inspire, it's all about giving energy. I think sometimes I like to say that inspiration is all about letting the energy come down through you and out through you. And that energy goes out into your audience. And through your energy, the audience, they breathe it in. They inhale that energy and that stuff that you're giving them, and they're now inspired. They're motivated. You know, you've led them to understand why it is that they may be stuck. When you're giving some inspiration, they probably already agree with everything that you're telling them. They probably want to believe that everything that you're telling them, but for some reason they aren't acting. They're not taking action. And so you're going to give them all the information they need to do, all that they need. You're going to give them enough to build them up, to give them hope, to give them inspiration. And then hopefully you're going to put one of your boots or your feet, right in. Oh, I can't say that here. But hopefully you're going to give them enough motivation to get going. You're going to inspire them to do something. Okay? So either we're speaking to inform, giving them the information, or you're speaking to inspire, to motivate, uplift, give them hope, and get them moving. Get them moving. That's the important part about the inspirational speech. You see, if you just build them way up, and at the end of your presentation, they're high in the air, but they don't take action, you've got a problem. When you speak to inspire, you speak to give them inspiration to take action. Inform or inspire. Next up is to entertain. Entertain. Now, entertaining speeches, this one is probably overly simple. Overly simple. So it's exactly what you're thinking about, to entertain. But here's the thing. Normally, when we think about an entertaining speech, we think about a speech where people are laughing and having fun, and well, they are having fun, but they don't have to laugh. They don't have to, they don't have to be falling on the floor laughing. They have to be entertained. And the thing about entertainment is different things are entertaining to different audiences. You just have to entertain them enough to keep their attention. And usually when you're speaking to entertain, you're giving them a relax, a relief away from the day-to-day activities or day-to-day, their humdrum, their hippity-doo-dah, whatever it is that they do all day. You give them an opportunity to relax, engage with something slightly different than work, politics, religion, whatever it is. Some people are entertained by work, politics, and religion. But typically, you're giving them an exit. And your number one goal is just to make sure that they have fun. Make sure that they're entertained by whatever you're sharing. You see, some people, they're entertained by things like conspiracy theories and science. So if you talk about trips to the moon and who's controlling American society or who's controlling the world, it may be dry to other people, but to them, it's going to be very entertaining. Some people are entertained by sports. And so if you talk about hockey, football, track and field, baseball, whatever it is that entertains them, it's going to be boring to some people, but it's going to be entertaining to them. And so your job when you're giving the entertaining speech is to appeal and entertain your particular audience. Not every audience is entertained by the same thing. Not every audience is going to clap and laugh and smile. Hopefully they smile a little bit. Hopefully they do something so that you know that they're entertained. But that's it, right? Either you're informing, you're going to inspire, entertain, or you're going to speak to persuade. Now, this is the one I love. I love persuasive speeches, and I love inspirational speeches. And there's a slight difference, because when you're speaking to persuade, you're speaking to convince them or influence and persuade them to a point of view or a way of thinking or an outlook or something that they may not already be in full agreement with. You speak when you speak to inspire, they already kind of agree with what you are saying, and they want to believe what you're saying is true. And they just need your inspiration to get them going and get them moving. But when you speak to persuade, they may not necessarily agree with what you're saying. They may not necessarily buy into what you're saying. But your job is to persuade them and to get them moving in your direction. It's to get them to adopt your way of thinking, believing, or seeing a certain event. It's your job to persuade them to maybe purchase your products or your services, or to persuade them to do something that they may not really be willing to do. And that's it. When you stand up to speak, you should be doing one of those four things. Either you're informing, giving the information, give the information, or you're inspiring, you're uplifting, inspiring them, motivating, and get them to move, or you're entertaining, helping them to relax, unwind, giving them a little bit of distraction from their regular day-to-day humdrum, or you're speaking to persuade. Persuade them to do something that they wouldn't do otherwise. You do that, and you're going to be extremely effective. And so go ahead and figure out on your next presentation, which one are you going to do? Are you going to inform, inspire, entertain, or persuade? Which one are you going to do? Think about that right now. Think about that. And I'll see you on the next video. This has been public speaking tip number 13. Next one's going to be 14. I'll see you at 14. Go ahead and write down your reason for this presentation right now. I'll see you on the next video. Make sure you press play. Peace out, friends.